And he was on the provisional front row all the way through qualifying 1 until Datsa booted him off right at the end. There is Costomo, there is his BMW teammates, of course, with Paul Jordan. Davey Todd, who really is enjoying himself here at the moment as well. And you'd have to say, on the strength of qualifying so far, it looks like being...
Start time of qualifying 2 is confirmed.
So we're going in just over 3 minutes from now. We are going in just over 3 minutes from now. I was just about to say that Peter Hickman and Davey Todd are setting the markers, but David Datsa, with that time, feeling very confident. He thinks there's more to come. He says he, in a way, he surprised himself, but then again, he didn't really, because he knew he was confident. He had the confidence in the bike as well. Davey Todd also feeling very confident. In fact, it's amazing so far, I've not spoken to any rider who's had a bit of a frown. There's Brian McCormack. He is on row 3 as things stand, third fastest overall, ninth fastest overall, sorry, on the Roadhouse Macau FHO Racing BMW. And of course, the most successful Macau rider of all time, Mr. Macau, Michael Rutter. I was trying to quiz him earlier on that superbike, what they're going to do, and he says, I don't know. We're just going to see. We're still learning. We're still trying to find things out. He doesn't think he's obviously going to be good enough to get on the podium. So I think he'd just be delighted with a good, comfortable ride around Macau. Take whatever comes, and he says, I just want to get off the bike with a smile on my face. No one has won more races around Macau than Michael Rutter, of course. 9 times. Ron Haslam, the second most successful, with 6. So Rob Hodson. Last few adjustments. Josh Brooks, maybe a surprise to some that he's 17th. I think it's taking him a little bit longer to adjust to Macau than perhaps maybe he may have thought, or any of us may have thought. We are 1 minute away from the pit lane opening. 1 minute to go. So Dominic Herberson and Davo Johnson on the Dafabet Racing Kawasaki's. The sun really is getting low as well. Hopefully that won't be an issue for some of the riders. Certainly going into somewhere like Lisboa, the sun will be really, really low. We should see that from the onboard cameras of Michael Rutter and Peter Hickman. Just looking at all the riders have clear visors. I think maybe Brooks might have a dark one by the looks of things. Just trying to look across. Peter Hickman has been waiting with the previous 2 sessions. He's let everybody else go, and then he's joined in. So what drama is about to unfold, folks, as we go green. Bikes on the track. And you can see plenty of riders with brand new rears on the back. It's Michael Rutter who takes them round Mandarin for the very first time. They'll have to wait, of course, until they come back round before we start timing them. So the climb up San Francisco Hill. As I mentioned before, just be clicking into 3rd, 4th, Then they get up to maternity, little right-hand bend. So we go through turn 6s, 7s, it's all second gear from here. Then we're around Teddy Yip, second gear. Turns 9, 10, 11. Coming down into 12, into Pyle. Then they're just going to nick it up into third gear in a moment. This is all second, and then up into third. And then into Police. And then the right-hand turn at Moorish. Lack of adhesion flags after the previous cars. Just you can see some of the markings there. But first into second gear, all second gear. Coming around Donna Maria. And then into the Melco hairpin, first gear. That's turn 19, then turn 20. Out of the hairpin, then a little bit too close to the wall there, but yeah. Second, third, fourth, fifth, 150 miles an hour. Then knock it back to second gear for this turn into Fishman's. So here we go. Then just as they come out, hit third, then fourth, then fifth. They're now fourth, into third. Knock it up into fourth again. Doing around 120, 130 miles an hour. Rutter still leading McCormack now. The clock start ticking. So fifth gear, sixth gear. Then just there, knocking it back to fifth for Mandarin. And then back on the power, up into sixth. Fastest part of the circuit. This is where the speed trap is. Riding with Michael Rutter. And that's exactly what I was saying about the sun into Lisboa. Really tricky, really, really tricky. A really low sun that is setting even lower with each lap. They'll be happy once he gets around the buildings, but Lisboa certainly very tricky. So Dats has passed McCormack on the road. In fact, Dats has just put in on that second sector up into maternity. In fact, he hasn't. Paul Jordan's just put the fastest sector time in. Datsa was 29.36, Jordan 29.35. Early days, of course, though. 40 minutes of this session still remaining. Well, I said you won't be seeing any overtaking here. Brian McCormack fastest on sector 3 for 33.0. So out of Fisherman's, here they come. 38. So who is 38? That is Erno Costomo running wide, and but he's rejoined. So the man who won the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix last year from Finland. And David Datsa with a 2:34.6. So fastest in this second session. However, that is a good 8 seconds slower than he managed earlier today. I think we'll see quite a few riders staying out for quite a while. They'll come in, chuck another tyre on, go back out again. I'd be very surprised to see a lot of chopping and changing, a lot of riders going in, coming out, going in, going out. I think they'll tend to stay out, unless, of course, there is some kind of issue that they're not happy with. David Johnson. Wow, Davo Johnson, 2:34.0, fastest in this session. He was 12th quickest overall, but he is 2:31.7, so he's still 3 seconds slower than he was earlier in qualifying 1. But as it stands, Davo Johnson, nice to see him top of the qualifying charts at the moment. So Peter Hickman on his way. So it's Costomo, Todd and Hickman were the last, Todd and Hickman were the last to go out. Costomo's just completed his second lap, but of course he ran wide. And I think that was at Lisboa. Just overshot again. He did that earlier in the session as well. So both Davey Todd and Peter Hickman letting everyone else go out. And Peter looking for an empty, clear track ahead of him. The plan is they're going to test a certain type of tyre, make sure that it can go the race distance. And if they're pleased with that, then they won't have too much to be concerned about ahead of tomorrow's race, which is in the morning. Peter Hickman just putting his leg out. Now, the reason he does that is because the exhaust runs under the right peg and the peg gets really, really hot. And he says it's unbearably hot. And obviously at times, or the majority of the time, he has to keep his foot on that peg, and he says he can feel it burning into his boot. So coming into somewhere like Lisboa is an opportunity for him to cool his foot down for a moment. But now he'll be feeling not too much, but he'll be feeling the heat through there, making it a little bit more uncomfortable. He said he first experienced it at the Isle of Man TT this year. And he said that's the first time ever. And people say to him, oh, you're looking for balance or whatever. He says, no, it's because my foot is so hot. So here's Erno Costomo. He reckons he's got a couple more seconds in him somewhere. And he needs to find them. 2:28.5 in qualifying 1. So almost 2.5 seconds off the pace set by Peter Hickman. And Hickman does a 2:28.7. So Hickman with a 2:28.7. Just trying to see if anybody's gone quicker. Certainly none of the front runners. Costomo with a 2:29. Crow with a 2:29, which is 2:29.4. No, so he does a 2:29.8. His 2:29.4 was this morning. So here goes Hickman across the line now. 2:28.7 was his best. He does a 2:26.4. 2:26.4, 0.3 of a second outside that he put in this morning. So that's the third fastest lap we've had at Macau on a motorcycle this week. And again, there he is, just a little bit of relief for his right foot. And it was funny this morning, Erno Costomo was following Peter Hickman around. And when Peter put his right foot out, Costomo did the same, thinking there was maybe some kind of, just move, a little bit of movement from Hickman. All second gear through here, of course. He did when he came in, he said he had a little bit of a braking issue. And he wasn't too happy with the fact that when he was braking that the rear was lifting. And that's something that he doesn't want to happen. We're riding on board with Peter Hickman now. And again, we could be going inside 2:26 on this lap. They're running a softer tyre just to see how it performs. There's Phil Crowe performing for us as he comes down towards Fisherman. But Hickman, the plan is checking that the softer tyre will go race distance. And they might chuck another soft on at the end if it's all going well. His teammate Josh Brooks had some kind of clutch issue, but that's all sorted now. Josh Brooks running at 12th fastest, 2:34.7, which is faster, so he's gone quicker, 2:35.0. So Josh Brooks, one of the riders who's actually improved on this morning, but we were anticipating that. However, I'm sure he wants to be inside 2:30 if he can. I'm doing a lot of math, so you'll have to forgive me, because the times that are coming up is not an overall time, it's a time for this session. So I'm trying to keep an eye on who is doing what. Michael Rutter, by the way, was much happier. Look at that low sun as well as we ride with Peter Hickman. And he does a 2:26.4. So in this session, the only rider to be inside 2:29. And he's doing oh no, change that. Oh, Michael Rutter with a 2:27.5. Whoa, Michael Rutter, 2:27.5. He's actually improved. Well, we suggested earlier that the likes of Rutter and Brooks should be improving, but my goodness me, I think Michael might surprise himself with that. He really didn't know how this was going to go. 2:27.5. So Michael Rutter, who was 5th, that now puts him up into provisional 4th place. So Rutter, 2:27.5. His previous was 2:28.5, so he's gone a second quicker. I was talking to him the other day and I was going podium and he was just shaking his head. He's going, no, no, not a chance. Not a hope. But at the moment he's second fastest in this session, just ahead of David Datzer. Lucas Moore has put in a 2:31.6. Just slightly off his time from this morning. We're back with Peter Hickman, who is not on a pace that is going to trouble that 2:26.4 that he just recorded a moment ago. Erno Costomo coming in now, so his best in this session so far, 2:29.2. This time around he does a 2:28.3, so 2:28.3, 0.2 faster than he was this morning. So 2:28.3, however, he's still behind Rutter now. Rutter up to 4th. Costomo, despite going faster, still in 5th place. My apologies if I get my maths wrong. So here he is, Michael Rutter. Not on a hot pace this time around. Yeah, so Michael Rutter coming in. I think he'll be delighted with what he's just achieved as soon as he hears from Warren and John, his two-man team. Just seeing Michael Rutter to the right of the picture, just coming up now with less than half an hour of the session to go. So I think it'll all be thumbs up in the FHO camp for Michael, going up to 4th, still on row 2, of course. Only Hickman, Todd and Datzer have managed 2:26s on that. Is somebody else looking for their breaking point going into... Oh, it's Datzer. So that is David Datzer. Boy, did he have a big grin on his face when he came in after that sensational final lap in qualifying 1 earlier today. Still on the front row as things stand. Phil Crowe going good. 2:29.8 is his best in this session so far. Still not an improvement on his 2:29.4. What's he going to achieve this time? 2:29.7, so a 1/10 of a second faster in this session, but still not as quick as he achieved earlier today. Hickman is in the pits, Rutter is in the pits, Mora, McCormack, Jordan, Davo Johnson, Rob Hodson are all in the pits. In fact, quite a lot of riders are in the pits at the moment. A reminder, tomorrow they will be going out first, ahead of the cars, but it will be a warm-up session, and then there'll be a slight delay, and then they will go racing over 12 laps, and that will be the Macau Grand Prix for 2023. So here's some of the bikes just in at the moment. Timothy Monod, Camille Holland, Julian Trummer, 91, there's Peter Hickman. So I think they'll be maybe chucking another tyre on, a softer one perhaps. David Datzer also coming in, so everybody coming in. 26 minutes on the clock at the moment. Who's out right now? Phil Crowe is still out. Joey Thompson. Just waiting for Joey Thompson to go through 6. Sam West is out on track at the moment. You can just see on the left of your screen there how many riders are in the pit. So yeah, Davo Johnson, Rob Hodson have gone back out. I think Josh Brooks has just come back in as well. So Timothy Monod about to go back out. That's Datzer's machine just wheeled back as well. So Dominic Herbertson is down in 13th at the moment. He's gone out, as has teammate Davo Johnson, both of the Dapperbat Racing. Running through, seeing who has improved and who hasn't. Certainly Brooks and Rutter have gone quicker in this session than they did earlier today. I just wonder whether that sun has passed Lisboa a little bit and it's just making life just a little bit easier. So 96, Dom Herbertson on the Kawasaki. First time this week on a superbike since his crash at the Isle of Man TT. Big beaming smile earlier today. His fastest time so far, a 2:34.1. That was in the earlier session. And he's a second slower so far, 2:35.1. But of course, he's just gone back out, so this lap will count. Quite a few bikes now going out. All very relaxed. With less than 25 minutes to go. Those gusts of winds that the riders were experiencing earlier today, no longer an issue, just a light breeze around. And the temperature's not too bad either. You can see that the sun is shining. Nice shots of Olivier Lutberger's Kawasaki. And here is Nadia Schutz from the Netherlands on the Basomba Racing Yamaha. She says that she's going with shorter gearing. She still says that she's barely touching 6th, but she's got a longer wheelbase. Her plan was to come in for fresh tyres after a couple of laps, maybe stiffen the suspension a little, see how that goes. She's getting so much support from the Artisan Grand Lapa Hotel this week as well, one of the local sponsors. So I think she's happier that she's gone for a longer wheelbase, had gone for a shorter gearing too, which made the wheelbase a little bit too short, and she felt that it was making the bike a little bit unrideable, getting lots of movements everywhere. Couldn't really find that she was sweeping lines like the R1 should be doing. But she says she's happy, she knows where she wants to be. And she actually has gone quicker in this session as well, so she is 0.4 of a second faster this time around. So here's Dominic Herbertson then. Can he improve on the 2:34.1? This could actually be inside. Here we go. Just waiting for that to click in, his transponder. So 2:35.1. In fact, yep, 2:35.1 again. So he is actually 0.04 of a second outside his best lap in this second session. And he has gone for a dark visor as well. Certainly that will help on his approach into Lisboa. I don't think too many have gone with a darker visor. Nadia Schutz certainly has, and so too has Michael Evans on the Suzuki from the Isle of Man. Michael Evans, 16th fastest in this session so far, 2:36.1. Still a second off his fastest time in qualifying 1. So Nadia Schutz puts in a 2:40.0. That's her fastest lap of the week so far. So she is steadily improving. Good to see Mark Goodings out as well. He took a little tumble this morning. So Nadia Schutz is just going to get a little bit of a surprise as Michael Evans goes through, but she'll have someone to get a tow from now as she goes up San Francisco Hill. Dutch woman really loves racing at Macau. Paul Williams is in. Davey Todd, who we've not seen anything of, really. He's managed 3 laps now. Either A, he has an issue, or B, he's really, really happy with the way things are. Maybe he's just saving it for the last 10 or so minutes of this second qualifying session at Macau. Would be interesting if next time we manage to get a camera in pit lane. if we can see what's going on in that first garage with Davey Todd, whether he's just sat there, if he's just relaxed, or if there is work going on. So Michael Evans just dropping Nadia Schutz. So they go up through Payol and into Police, and then Moorish, and then around Donna Maria. And then it's into the Melco hairpin. So Rutter's in, Datza's in, Phil Crow has just gone back out. Peter Hickman out as well. I just wonder whether he has gone for a softer tyre. Still staying with Michael Evans, who's looking to improve. His best lap at 2:34.2. So he is one of the riders that has gone quicker in this second session. 2:34.2. And he does a 2:34.3 on that one, so a tenth of a second slower. 2:34.2 would put him around 15th place overall. And there is Peter Hickman. So Hickman with a couple of riders just ahead of him. So that's Sam West just ahead of Peter Hickman. We've not seen too much of Sam West on our screens, which is a bit of a shame. Sam West 13th fastest so far in this second session. Here's Erno Costomo blasting his way down into Lisboa. You can see the shadows are getting a little bit longer. But you can see the shadow on his bike there. You can see where the sun just casting that shadow behind him. So it is still going straight into their eyes as they go into Lisboa. Costomo with a 2:28.0. Now he has improved then, hasn't he? So that is half a second faster, but he did say he felt he had a second or two in him to improve upon, and it was there, and he's on a fast one this time around as well. So 2:28.0. But if he's going to get past Rutter, he's got to go inside 2:27.5. So there's Josh Brooks. 2:34.0. He's just put his fastest lap in so far, which is no surprise really. His first time at Macau, improving. And it should be no surprise to see him improve his lap time throughout this session. So the Australian, the two-time British Superbike champion, Peter Hickman with a fast sector, and a fast second sector as well. So I think Hickman may well have, I think he would have passed Sam West. But we're just looking at Costomo so far. Costomo is putting in, I think, a time that will be inside 2:28.3, 2:28.0. He should be in the 27s with this one. He might even just be inside 2:27. Here we go. Crossing the line any moment now. So 2:28.0 was his best. A 2:26.4. 2:26.4. 0.02 of a second slower than Hickman in this session. So 2:26.4. And that puts him third, a tenth of a second behind Davey Todd on the front row. So Costomo up on the front row, Rutter back to row 2, 2:27.5. Hickman still with that 2:26.1 this morning, the fastest. However, he looks as if he's eased off a little. Taking it right out to the white line. So Hickman coming up to cross the line, his best time 2:26.1 in this session, 2:26.4, and this time he puts in a 2:26.2. So he would have been, had he been a little bit quicker in sectors 3 and 4, he certainly would have been inside 2:26. So 2:26.2, a tenth of a second outside what he achieved this morning. So coming down into Lisboa, is he going to go purple again? He does, 23.8. 23.8, keep our eyes on Peter Hickman for this lap, please. So he's now on the second sector, coming up San Francisco, coming up towards turn 5. So up San Francisco he goes, into turn 5 here, then turn 6, into Maternity. Costomo slowed up with his 2:26.4 and a great lap, but Peter Hickman, is he going to go purple again? Costomo just around Donna Maria. So it's a twisty, tight part of the track, sector 3. And he didn't really have too much trouble with sector 3. It was said that sector 4 was where he was struggling. Not struggling, but sector 4 was where he was losing a bit of time to his rivals. Just waiting for sector 3 to come in. 31.7 again. Not his fastest sector so far. However, he could still be inside 2:26 as things stand. So Costomo may be looking to attack this next lap. Hickman, by the way, going through Police, Moorish into Donna Maria, and then the Melco hairpin. So this is the Melco hairpin now on board with Peter Hickman. So round he goes, triggers the transponder, and that time on sector 4, it's there, 34.8. Again, not an improvement on his best time through that sector. It just depends where he should maybe get past this next rider ahead of him as they go into the turn. So it's Timothy Minot. It might just hold up. Peter Hickman doing an even faster time this time. Has it? No, it has 2:27.0. Maybe, had Mono not been there, we might have just witnessed a time inside 2:26, but certainly he had to hold up, and you can see he was trying. So he should be coming in at the end of this lap. Take a breath for a few minutes and then maybe get back out for the final 5 or 6 minutes or so. So Hickman, I'm going to try and run through this for you. And Hickman, of course, opting to go for the dark visor. Peter Hickman, son of David Hickman, and his mum Sue, who I'm sure will be at home watching. And he comes from good racing stock. His dad, Dave, a Manx Grand Prix winner. Did a little bit of Grand Prix racing as well at World Championship level. And who knows what Dave might have achieved had his career not been cut short by injury. But certainly Peter Hickman showing that there is talent in the Hickman gene. So Hickman with a 2:26.1 this morning is still his fastest time. Oh, now Davy Todd is out, so 2:26.3 for Davy Todd. So that is 0.02 of a second slower than he achieved this morning. So 2:26.34 for Davy Todd, the fastest. He's just done a 2:26.36. And here he is, Davy Todd. Where have you been? So whether it's all been a cunning ploy, just to wait till the last 10 minutes or so of the session to go out and improve. Dave Johnson's in, Lucas Mora is in. Michael Rutter's just gone back out. Davy Todd improving again on that sector, his fastest second sector so far. Not the fastest sector as we've seen from Peter Hickman. Lovely style about this man, isn't it? Can he make it 3 greens in a row? In fact, he does a purple, a 31.4. So Davy Todd, can he sneak pole position from Peter Hickman? I just think maybe Hickman's FHO Racing BMW might just have a little bit more straight line speed, perhaps, than the John Burroughs Engineering. Oh, he's trying, isn't he? The bike just protesting under brakes as he goes into the hairpin. So Davy Todd with a rider just ahead of him. So out of Fisherman's goes Todd. 33.2 on that fourth sector. So 226.36 his fastest in this session, 226.34 overall. Can he improve on that as he crosses the line? And it is a 225.3. Davy Todd takes provisional pole. Just under 8 minutes to go. 225.370 for Davy Todd. 2 purples in that one. So Davy Todd, 225.3. 0.8 of a second faster than Peter Hickman's quickest time so far. So that cunning plan that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago seems to be working. Hickman is still in the pits at the moment. Whether there's anything psychological in achieving pole position. Oh, Hickman is out. Hickman is out. So Peter Hickman back on track. He'll have witnessed and just seen what Davy Todd has achieved. So we'll have to wait a few minutes, of course, to see what Peter Hickman has got in terms of a response to Davy Todd. But the only rider so far inside 226 is Davy Todd. And I dare to suggest that maybe he was a little bit down on speed on Peter Hickman's FHO Racing BMW. But the Burroughs Engineering RK Racing BMW of Davy Todd has that honour at the moment. David Datzer is out. He surprised everyone at the end of qualifying 1. Can he repeat that again in qualifying 2? Datzer's just done a 227.0, which is his fastest of this session so far. In fact, we're just watching Datzer at the moment, but he won't be improving on 227.0 this time around. Still slower than he went this morning. I was going to try and find who had gone in faster for you. We certainly know Davy Todd has. Hickman hasn't. Datzer hasn't. Costomo has. He's now in the 226s, of course. A 226.4 is his fastest. Rutter's gone quicker, of course. Phil Crow's best was 229.4 this morning. He's gone quicker, 228.6. Brian McCormack with a 230.1 is half a second faster for him. So quite a few riders have improved, and Costomo, well, he too is looking to improve, and he's looking to show that he is not going to give up his crown without a fight here in Macau. The king of Imatra, the king of Macau as well, as things stand. So 226.4. I don't think we'll see an improvement this time around. 227.1, so just under a second slower than his quickest in this session so far. That's his second fastest lap. 4 minutes left. That looks to be it from Costamo. Unless, of course, he may well be looking to see what goes on. Maybe one final fast fling, of course. Less than 4 minutes on the clock remaining. So he will be able to, unless he is going to come in at the end of this lap, make his way around. A big look up at the scoreboard, the big screen there for the fans at Lisboa, trying to pick up what information he can. Josh Brooks has just done a 2:32.4, so Josh Brooks is improving. No surprise there. Here's Camille Holland and Lucas Mora. Mora going up the inside of Holland as they come into Fisherman's. Lucas Mora 2:30.9 so far, which is faster for him too. So quite a few riders have improved. The most impressive, of course, so far, though, Davy Todd at 2:25.3. So Mora does his fastest 2:30.5. So Lucas Mora. So just over half a second quicker than his best time this morning. Datsa is in the pits, so is that it from him? Here's Davy Todd. So we'll get one more lap for Davy Todd. This is his final lap. He won't be able to get round in time before the next checkered flag to do a second lap after this one. So we will keep an eye on number 7, the Burroughs Engineering RK Racing BMW of Davy Todd. Oh, now Michael Rutter. That's very un-Rutter-like. At Macau, certainly. So Davy Todd into Lisboa. What's he got? A 24.6. So not as fast as his best time so far. That's about a second or so slower. This is with Michael Rutter, the Bathams-backed rider here with FHO Racing this weekend. Davy Todd with a 28.2. It doesn't look as if we're going to see an improvement on 2:25.3. Hickman, maybe 27.8 on that second sector. That's the run from Lisboa up to Maternity. But he needs some purples. And this will be Hickman's last lap as well. We have less than a minute to go. So Michael Rutter looks like his 2:27.5 is the one that will qualify him for this race. A shame as well, because he'd put in his fastest first sector, well, going into Lisboa, but of course 24.9 for him. But the fact that he was putting in that fast time meant that he overshot. The fastest third sector for Peter Hickman, folks. Hang on. Hang on. Don't be putting down any times just yet. 2:26.2 is quickest in this session, and he puts in a fastest sector 4 so far. So Hickman, what has he got? Here he is out of Fisherman's. He's just got our bend to come. 2:25.3 are the magic numbers set by Davy Todd, who's just done a 2:40.9. So 2:25.3, Hickman takes the checkered flag and does a 2:24.8. So he goes inside, he takes provisional pole. Peter Hickman inside 2:25. 2:24.8 for Peter Hickman. Wow, and that is, as well, he was, not nowhere near, but that first sector to Lisboa, that belonged to Davy Todd in this session. But Hickman, a 2:24.8 has to make him favourite for tomorrow morning's race, of course. So Todd and Hickman acknowledging each other. Thumbs up. There's our first two. Dats has come in, so the 226.4 of Customo will put him into provisional front row. Dats's 228 from the 226.7 from this morning will have him at the front of row 2. Rutter will be on there as well with a 227.5. Phil Crow with a 227.7. So Phil Crow goes a lot faster this time around. He will be on row 2. Now Paul Jordan, 231.8 in this session. So almost 2 seconds slower. Paul Jordan with a 230.1. Well, now then, has McCormack pushed him out? No. So 230.12 for Paul Jordan. Rob Hodson with a 230.4. Just a couple of hundred slower than his best time this morning. Josh Brooks is worth keeping an eye on as well. 232.1 was his fastest. Just watching Hickman and Todd making their way back to the pits. Of course, the checkered flag was waved, so whatever they do this time wouldn't have counted, of course. So 224.8 for Peter Hickman. 225.3 for Davey Todd. 226.4. So an interesting session as well, because I suggested earlier today that most of the riders will post their fastest times in qualifying 1, and only a few will go quicker in qualifying 2. Quite a few have gone quicker in qualifying 2. In the past, of course, qualifying 1 was the afternoon session and qualifying 2 was the morning. So all changed this year, with both qualifying sessions on the same day. Typical Davey Todd. Those two marshals probably wondering what was going on there. Oh, that was fantastic. Davey Todd on the front wheel, lifting the rear. And I don't think they'd probably ever seen anything like it and wondering what was going on. Oh, ever the showman, Davey Todd. So 224.8 for Peter Hickman, 225.3 for Todd, 226.4 for Costomo. Daz Jones congratulating Peter Hickman. Same with John Burrows and his man Davey Todd. So Datsa, as I said, he didn't improve. So 226.7 for Datsa, row 2. 227.5 for Rutter, puts him on row 2. I say Phil Crow with a 227. In fact, there we go. Yep, that's how they will line up. So Hickman, Todd, Costomo on row 1, Datsa, Rutter and Crow on row 2, McCormack, Hodson and Mora on row 3, Davo Johnson will head row 4. Alongside him will be Paul Jordan, and Josh Brooks is up to row 4. Julian Trummer, Michael Evans and Dominic Herbertson will be on row 5. And really, if you want to be in with a chance of winning the race, you have to be on the first 3 rows, of course, as we witnessed with Peter Hickman many years ago. But as it is, he will start in provisional pole. These are those overall results again. So Hickman, Todd, Costomo on the front row. Costomo, I think, will be very happy with that. But it does seem to be shaping up, if qualifying is anything to go by, into being Peter Hickman versus Davey Todd. Datsa didn't improve, Rutter did, Crow improved, Jordan was about the same. So Joey Thompson, Dom Herbertson and Camille Holan on the same row, then Timothy Mono, Paul Williams and Nadia Schutz. And the back row will be Olivia Luckberger and Mark Goodings. However, with those times, it would suggest if they're around 14 seconds a lap slower than the likes of Peter Hickman, then they will be getting lapped during the course of tomorrow's race, if those qualifying times are anything to go by, of course. Well, tomorrow morning, it's the real deal. The Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix over 12 laps with Peter Hickman on pole, Davey Todd and Erno Costomo, the current Macau champion, alongside him. We are in for what should be a very special treat tomorrow. But it looks to be a bit of a heavyweight fight between Hickman and Todd. Can Costomo or Datset get involved? Michael Rutter is too, also in there. But it does all look at the stars seem to be aligning between Peter Hickman and Davey Todd. We shall see. A sensational final lap here from Peter Hickman. So don't forget to join us tomorrow here from Macau. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Dave Moore, and I'll be with you tomorrow morning. But for now, it's goodbye.